Thank you for that. I think it's the first time 3 witnesses went either right on time or a little bit under time, so you're to be congratulated. We'll now start with our rounds of questioning. Mr. Small, you're up first for 6 minutes or less, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the witnesses for coming out today to take part in this very important study. Mr. Chair, my first question is to Ms. Lapointe. Ms. Lapointe, the 115,000-ton promise to the inshore fleet by the Prime Minister was made during the 2015 election campaign, stating that a Liberal government would allocate that first 115,000 tons of northern cod to the inshore fleet. Given your extensive knowledge of our commitments to NAFO, is that a promise that the Prime Minister and his ministers could have kept to the inshore fleet?
So, thank you, Chair, for the question. My understanding first is, as I recall, was the commitment was made by the Liberal Party. The letter was in response to a questionnaire, I believe, that the FFAW had sent to all political parties during the 2015 election. I can't speak to the NAFO commitments per se in this regard, but as my colleague Mr. Bonnell has noted, there's never been a policy commitment or legislative commitment to give exclusive access to the first 115,000 to the inshore. There's been priority access that's been outlined, but not exclusivity.
But do you think if a quota was set at in excess of 100,000 tons, that the federal government would not have to deal with NAFO and the 5% commitment to them? Could a government have issued that allocation to the inshore fleet and not have had pushback from NAFO somewhere along the line? Is it a promise that Prime Minister could have kept?
The NAFO commitment is that once Canada declares a commercial fishery for northern cod, that their NAFO contracting parties are entitled to 5%.
Do you think the Prime Minister made a commitment that he just could not keep?
I mean, definitely exclusive access, which, as I say, has never been a long-standing government commitment, is not possible when once a commercial fishery is opened and it has to go to 5% needs to go to contracting parties of NAFO. So
we hear a lot of talk about bottom trawling and whatnot, and it's a well-known fact that vessels travel from Faroe Islands to the Flemish Cap, nearly 200 or 2,000 miles, to fish the Flemish Cap for codfish using hook and line. Is it not possible that we could have an offshore fishery using hook and line if vessels only have to travel, 150 miles, Mr. Bonnell? Do you think that would give a greater eco certification to fish northern cod harvested in the Newfoundland and Labrador?
No. I mean, there's a long history of mobile gear fishing. Some of the most well-managed fisheries in the world are trawl-based fisheries. 25% of global fisheries today are trawl-based fisheries. And 84 of them, I think Dr. Ray Hilborn testified at the court hearing, 84 of them trawl-based fisheries are MSC certified. We're some of the most well-managed fisheries in the world. How we fish today, mobile gear, is nothing like how we fish pre-moratorium. The volumes we fish today are nothing like we fished pre-moratorium. And in fact, a significant portion of the inshore fishery in Newfoundland and Labrador is trawl-based. You're having a huge debate here about Unit 1 redfish. Well, how do you think they fish? Everybody, inshore, midshore, offshore, it's all mobile gear fishing. And it's done, and I'm not criticizing it, it's done sustainably. The rules that are in place, the management measures, far better today than they ever were in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Bonnell. So, pre-moratorium, what percentage of the fish harvested by OCI's, well, formerly FPI, what percentage of that fish was processed in onshore plants in Newfoundland and Labrador?
Oh, well, that's pre-Ocean Choice and pre-Kerry Bunnell. So you're looking pre-1992. There would have been, the history was about, I think, in terms of fishing, about 46% was fished by the offshore sector. Fairly significant portion of that would have been land-based protein.
But how much? Yeah, so fairly close to 100% of it would have been processed.
I don't know the number offhand, but a large percentage.
So going forward, if what's OCI's plans for processing of its quotas in its plants in Bonavista and Triton and whatnot to give, if Icewater is processing in Arnold's Cove. What are your plans for Triton and for Bonavista if you were to receive further increases from this?
Yeah, fair question. So, Bonavista and Triton are kept quite busy, as you know, in the snowcraft fishery and some other fisheries. So we've provided very, very meaningful employment to probably combined 500 to 600 people in those two operations alone. Our commitment this year is basically everything that's fished in the offshore for us will go to Icewater Seafoods, reducing or eliminating their reliance on importing frozen at sea cod from elsewhere. As the quota grows, we've indicated publicly, and I'll indicate here, as the quota grows, we would look at opportunities for further processing of cod in our facilities as well, of course.
I have one more quick question. Could the offshore fleet not have been given an experimental research quota under the auspice of a stewardship fishery, and the fishery remained a stewardship fishery, with the offshore receiving a portion to supplement DFO's failed trawl surveys? 2
points on that, I think.
The time is up. The 6 minutes for Mr. Small has expired. I would say, Mr. Bonnell, if you have an answer to that question, send it into the committee in writing, or if later on, if you have another opportunity to answer it, it's fine.
No problem.
We'll now go to Mr. Kellaway for 6 minutes or less, please.
Thanks.